Well, it seems that Vladimir Putin has prepared the ground for that with his decision to recognize these so-called People's Republics of Luhansk and Donetsk and the essentially unilateral abrogation of the Minsk agreement. He has untied his hands. The puppet states now are claiming that they want to have the rest of the territory, which is still under Ukrainian control, and that is like 2/3 still unoccupied by Putin's henchmen. That means, Russia, through its puppet states, has much further into Ukraine's territory to go. And Vladimir Putin is, if not planning to do that, he's definitely made it very possible for himself in the next few days to try to reconquer that territory and still, retain plausible, as he thinks, deny that he is involved, like what he did with Crimea and the so-called Green Man. This would be a sort of help of solidarity, a kind of a brotherly assistance to the brotherly statelets of Luhansk and Donetsk. He could even try to involve other nations from the former Soviet republics who are members of the collective security treaty organization to make it look like an international peace action by continuing to claim that Ukraine is the one that has been attacking the Donbass. I just wanted to say, as far as the sanctions, I mean, we'll talk more in depth about it. I did want to mention that it's very notable that the German Chancellor finally, who up till now was reluctant to even name, and allude to Nord Stream 2 by name, finally put his foot where his mouth was and stated unambiguously that Nord Stream 2 has been halted. This is very important. This is a troubling development for Vladimir Putin. Europe, if Europe decides to act as a unified kind of Western front against Vladimir Putin, it's going to make it much more complicated. It's a sort of game of chicken that Vladimir Putin is involved in, where both sides are trying to see who swerves first as they're careening down the highway towards each other.
All right, let me take then this.
I think the signal from Germany is kind of unexpected because Germany has been considered as the odd man out as far as the coordinated Western policy. Putin has been banking on the support of Germany as Russlandverstehers, those who try to understand and sympathize with Russia. So once again, this is probably has thrown a monkey wrench into Vladimir Putin's calculations. As far as Joe Biden's announced sanctions against these statelets, this is part of his strategy to still use them as potential, for potential kind of leverage with Russians. They understand that, they don't even reach the level of symbolism that is required. I mean, these republics are already isolated quasi-entities. They don't trade with anyone. These sanctions don't go far. They don't bite. There's an understandable kind of, upset that Ukrainians are feeling over it, but it ain't over till it's over. And Biden has announced that more sanctions are to come. So Ukrainians are, waiting to see. But let me just return to the point earlier about NATO expansion. I just cannot avoid commenting on it. Once again, just to make it clear, the NATO expansion has been a red herring for Vladimir Putin all along. I don't think he's concerned with Ukraine joining NATO. He knows it's not going to happen anytime soon. What he's concerned about is trying to recreate a former Soviet Union in a different shape or form. He considers the loss of Ukraine a personal tragedy. He wants Ukraine to follow the trajectory of Belarus next door. Belarus has essentially over the last year become a protectorate of Russia under military occupation, and that's exactly what Vladimir Putin is trying to achieve in Ukraine. He wants to dominate it, and he made it clear yesterday in his speech, he does not even recognize Ukraine as a legitimate state. He said it as early as 20 years ago in his meeting with George W. Bush. He said, George, Ukraine ain't even a country. And we're seeing 20 years later, we're seeing a very direct kind of